Hi everybody, Kaiwaza with you. Welcome back to my channel. It's New Year's Eve day as I'm recording this, and it probably won't go up until I think the 1st or the 2nd of January. So let me just wish you all a very happy new year, a good best wishes for 2022. I know 2021 maybe wasn't what a lot of us were hoping it was going to turn out to be. But you know, such is life, and we're here and everything's fine with me. So I'm welcoming 2022 with some, you know, hopeful optimism, whatever. Hope springs eternal, as they say. So happy New Year to everybody. And it's time for something I haven't done in a long time, which is a Hawaiian record update. This actually will be in my series of showing my Hawaiian record collection, video number 300. If you can believe it. So these, of course, I don't acquire Hawaiian records as often as I get other kinds of music right now, because I have a huge record collection of Hawaiian music. So I have like so much. So, you know, I'm not getting new stuff as much. But this is what I've got in the past. I don't even know when the last one I did. It's probably like 5 months ago or something. So let's see what we can get through today to show you my new acquisitions in Hawaiian and Exotica realms. And also remind you that if you're interested, you can hear selections from these records on my Hawaiian music, vintage Hawaiian music radio station that plays music from my Hawaiian record collection. It's called Hawaiian Hi-Fi Live 365. It's free to listen to. I don't make any money off of it. It's just a hobby. And you can check that out. The link will be below if you want to check that out. So let's get into the records I have to show today that I have acquired over the past several months. This one, okay, technically not really a Hawaiian record, more sort of early Exotica, maybe you could call it. I don't know. This is a 10-inch record from 1952. It's Dorothy Kirsten, I believe is how that's pronounced. Dorothy Kirsten sings tropical love songs.
Flamingo, when the sun meets the sea, say farewell to my lover and hasten to me. The leaves from the trees all dance in the breeze and float on the ripples. We're deep in a spell as nightingales tell of roses and dew. The memory of this moment of love will haunt me.
Now she, to tell you just a little bit about her, she's originally from Montclair, New Jersey, and was an American operatic soprano singer. She left high school at 15 and pursued a musical career, had a very successful one, sang with several opera companies, also recorded quite a fair amount, mostly operatic or show tunes like Jerome Kern and those kind of things, and this record, and also sang on like Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, a lot of those folks. She sang on their radio shows with them. So quite a long career. She passed away in 1992. This album, yeah, I just thought I would try it because it is tropical themed songs, and I have programmed some of the songs onto the radio station because they're great. I really love her rendition of Orchids in the Moonlight, really pretty, and Flamingo is really nice. So these are just, you know, tropical themed love songs from Dorothy Kirsten. Now this next one, I should say also, I was going to preface this by saying I don't have a lot of information on some of these artists that I'm showing today. There just is not much out there on most of them that I can share with you. Here's a private pressing record. Had no idea, just got it, I think, off of eBay and thought, let's just see. I have no idea. It's called, well, it's even hard to figure out what it's called until you look at the label, but it's called I'd Rather Be Me, and the artist is Mitch Evans. Yeah, interesting, right? What the heck is this? It says here, sing along with Florida's Gulf Coast, USA. So apparently this Mitch Evans, I can't find anything about him, and it's hard when somebody has a common name like Mitch Evans to really find stuff when they're from back in the day. Couldn't find anything, but apparently a Hawaiian performer I'm assuming at these hotels that are listed here along Florida's coast, the Clearwater, St. Petersburg area, this peninsula here. I have been here several times. You know, been around there. I had a cousin that lived there for a while, twice, 2 different times she lived there. So I was interested to hear this one. Like I said, I assume he performed at lounges here, and I assume he had some kind of a show because there's some dancers on the back. But other than the title track, these are all Hawaiian songs, and they're all pretty common standard Hawaiian songs. And the guy is just singing and playing the guitar. And the guitar work is rather nice, actually. I mean, he's a fine singer, that's fine. And I will say, you know, I hope there aren't relatives of all these people that I'm talking about today watching. Sorry. He messes up quite a few of the Hawaiian lyrics. I mean, a lot of performers did. Sometimes fairly simple stuff, and some of the English lyrics are wrong on some of these songs too. So I don't really understand that, but it does happen. But these are all very standard Hawaiian songs like Lovely Hula Hands and Little Brown Gal and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Valley of stars for you to wear on a night like this. It's time I'll weave the lay of stars.
Decent singer. I do really like the guitar work on this, so this was kind of an interesting record to have in the collection, but I don't know when it's from. Probably the 60s or 70s looking at it. Here's another one that came out of Florida. Or no, this one came out of Kentucky. I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, again, I hope there's no relatives listening to this. This is a record I never saw it before, knew nothing about it. Was excited to see it. I thought, ooh, something new. Let's get it. Because the songs are all not familiar songs. Never heard of any of these songs. So I'm like, my favorite thing, right, is to discover a Hawaiian record that has a whole bunch of original compositions on it. You know, that's exciting. And then I got it and I played it. And it's like... Well, I'll let you listen and decide.
Little mini moo-moo, she's standing 6'2". The 2 is up and down, the 6 goes round and round. She's always at the table, before the rest are able. Her fingers in the poi, the last of it, oh boy. Little mini moo-moo, she hula shakes, the island quakes. Little mini moo-moo. In the shore, and the sand fills the sea. Shells hear it roar. It's a lonely blue sea.
So this is put out by Diane Joy and Diane Joy's World of Stage Arts. Now apparently she had a studio of School of Dance, Diane's School of Dance in Kentucky. I don't know when. And if you had this album, if you bought this album for $6.95, you would get 2 free dance lessons. But honey, tell me, you paid to endure this record. You earned those 2 free lessons, I think. I don't know what, you know, I don't know. The songs are okay. Like, some of the songs are cute. Some of them are just like, kind of that beginner songwriter thing where everything has to rhyme, or it sounds not, but there are a couple of nice songs on it. I do like a couple of the drumming numbers that where it's just drumming, are not exactly traditional Tahitian rhythms, but they're kind of cool. I do like those. I did program those and a couple of the songs, but what just bothers me the most isn't the songs themselves, which she wrote, all of them, by the way. It's just that like the singers, you know, it's like several, sounds like old ladies, and they're not, they don't do any harmony. It's like they're just singing. It's like 2 or 3 ladies, I don't know, singing the lyrics to the song, single note. They are not Ray Conniff, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, they're kind of all over the place, and it's just sad. It's a sad record. She does have another one, well, that I had some interest in, called Jungle Rhythms. I thought, well, that might be interesting too. But yeah, it's on sale. I saw it is on eBay for $160, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This was not on Discogs, and I put it up on Discogs. So for all I know, this could end up being worth a lot of money, but if anybody wants this for a lot of money, I'll be willing to sell it to you. Yes, I will. Thank you, Diane's World of Stage Arts. Okay, now here's somebody I can tell you a little bit about. I have gotten this record before, but it arrived broken, and it's been a while since one's come up that I thought was affordable enough, and I did get this, I don't remember, I think it was $20. This is an album from 1986, but rather historic, the Taomoe Family with Bob Brozman. Bob Brozman was a steel guitarist that we see here. That we see here, playing the steel guitar, duh. And this is the Taomoe Family. The Taomoe Family, legendary, although I'm not going to say super well known in Hawaii, because they never really performed here, or their career wasn't really developed here, but they left in the 1920s. They were from, well, Taomoe is originally from Samoa, but brought up in Laie on this island, and the wife also, I believe, from Hawaii. And they play steel guitar and sing, and developed an act, and they went touring, and they went on a tour that basically lasted like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, like 60 years basically they were on tour. I mean, they did have a few breaks here and there where like world wars happened and they had to hang out in other parts of the country, but they continued, of the world, but they even continued to perform and tour during those times. So they really were nonstop, and promoted their children that they had during the course of all this became part of the act as well. And they performed and recorded Hawaiian music all around the world, from like the 20s to the 70s, all over. And I mean like India, the Middle East, they went on tours in like the 40s during the World War, Indonesia, all over, you know, Europe. They inspired so many people to become interested in Hawaiian music and learn to play Hawaiian steel guitar during that time period. Really their impact was quite huge, although again, not super well known in Hawaii because they weren't recording here and performing here. But they did eventually come back here and retire. And this album was sort of a product of that, when Bob Brozman, who's a steel guitarist here, Wizard of Strings, specialized in acoustic steel guitar playing in like the old 20s kind of style. It turns out Taomoe ordered some records from Bob Brozman's business, and they realized, wait a minute, like this is the Taomoe. Like, so they, which of course Bob Brozman knew about, so they hooked up, like they, you know, started a conversation and started talking, and decided at one point, hey, let's do a record. And I don't know whose idea it was, but the idea was, let's take old Taomoe songs, because they were all like on, you know, 45, I mean, not 45s, but like the 78 shellacs, you know, a lot of their music, very old, 1920s and 30s. Like, let's take a lot of those songs that we did and re-record them with today's technology, with Bob Brozman playing the steel guitar rather than the Moes, and the Moes doing all the, you know, other singing and instrumentation and whatever, and keep it, you know, as similar as we can to the original arrangement, just redone with modern technology. And so that's what they did, and it's a fantastic record. have some of these on other albums that are like reissued old 20s stuff. So they did keep very true to like the original arrangements that they made. And it's a wonderful album. I love it. And I do love Bob Brozman's steel guitar playing. He sadly also has passed away. I think everyone involved, except for the children, have passed away. But this record came out in 1989 is when it came out. Great record if you don't have it and you like some of that sort of 20s style, but it's a contemporary, more modern recording technique. So the sound quality obviously is much better than it would have been on the records they recorded in the 20s and 30s. I do have some other Taomoe stuff that's been recorded, you know, again, like overseas. Hawaiian Fire, I have a record of theirs from Yugoslavia. Very interesting group of people, but yeah, that's them.
Aloha. If you are craving the warm sound of the islands of eternal summer, join me on the online radio station that only plays the vintage, beautiful sounds and music of Hawaii. Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio on Live 365. Where there, Kaiwaza, your music host, will spin platters of exotic and relaxing Hawaiian melodies 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Won't you stop by and enjoy the warmth of the Hawaiian sun on Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio? The link is below in the description.
All right, keep it moving. These are a couple records. I'm not going to talk too much about them because they're not Hawaiian music, but they are by local artists that were from here that have since, for whatever reasons, sometimes reasons that escape me, have become extremely valuable records. And I just like, why? I know there's a lot of reasons why, and it's not to diss what they're doing. It's just this isn't Hawaiian music. These are Hawaiian artists, or local artists. So the first one is Kevin I. The album is New Dimensions. Mine is kind of, I don't know whether I spilled some candle wax or something on this at some point, which I really shouldn't have done, knowing how valuable this record was. But yeah, again, this is like a thrift store find, so I got it for cheap. But I mean, this thing is going for like, you know, $75 or stuff when you get records of it. He did, it's like pop synth wave, he's calling it. 80s, in the 70s and 80s, and he did a couple albums, and they're like kind of dance floor, kind of some ballad stuff, but all on the sort of electric side, if you know what I'm saying. Not like people, not acoustic guitars and stuff. It's more electric kind of stuff. Kevin I.
Paradise, forever, paradise, always together. Go on forever now. I'm ready for that final vow. As long as you're here, I'm keeping you near, 'cause I'm ready for.
And I've played a few songs from it on the radio station, a couple, because of who he is. I don't have his other album, his first album, which is also extremely valuable, but I'm sure I'll come across it someday. I think someday I'll come across it in a thrift store, but they're very valuable and very collectible, and they're fetching a good amount of money. And yeah, he actually has a website if you're curious. I found Kevin I, his own website up, just talking a little bit about his music and what he did when he quit in the 80s, late 80s. He stopped doing music and went on with his life, but he's taking control of his music now, and he's done some sort of reissue package of his music that you can get if you're interested in, because you're gonna have to pay like hundreds of dollars to get these records if you ever find them. So that's a good alternative. Another one in the same category, Greg Yoder. This is sort of more of a folksy rock sort of record. It's from 1976. It's a better picture of him.
Be happy, I may be moody, I just might be me.
album. He moved here in the early 70s and eventually left. I don't know when he left, but I was looking him up and finding information that he now is involved with and has been for quite a while. Like, I think it's I'm pretty sure it's the same person based on the pictures. I could be wrong, but I think it's the same person. On the mainland, I think in Michigan, involved with children's ministries and radio and has been active in some Christian ministry stuff for a long time. I don't know. I don't know whether that was his deal at this time, because this seems sort of, you know, what am I going to say? It was 74, a little drug induced or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, it's a nice album. It's him singing along with these friends and these guys. These people did this record. Again, I was shocked to see this at Savers one day, because this is worth like $100, this record. I could turn around and sell it, you know, pretty quickly, which I might, I don't know, because it's not really my thing, but yeah, I did get it for like $1, and it's a very valuable record. It's been reissued, I think, too. Yeah. All right. Now, lastly, here's a record. I have a friend in the Netherlands who is sending me some budget label Hawaiian stuff from the Netherlands, because we have our own budget label Hawaiian stuff here, and they have it over there with like a couple of different groups that end up turning up on a lot of records with different names and different titles, and it's kind of fun, and I just love to have all of it. I don't know why, but I do. And this is one called 16 Great Hawaiian Hits, Volume 1, featuring the Islanders and the Waikiki 12, neither of whom are particularly a real group. Now, before, I had this record, covers the same, right? The Islanders, Hawaiian Paradise, which has some actual, you know, old Hawaiian songs, but with steel guitar, kind of that kind of instrumental arrangements. I really, really loved this record, but for whatever reason, when they recorded it, it's overmodulated, which is really weird. Like, why would you do that on an actual recording? But it's overmodulated. This one has almost all the songs that are on that one, plus some other ones by this anonymous, the Waikiki 12, but it's like this Indonesian group that just does Indonesian songs in Hawaiian style, which is cool, but who are they? We don't really know. But it has most of the same songs, and they're not overmodulated, and they sound great on this record, so I was super happy to get this, because I do love those songs by the group The Islanders that's on this. Love them. And then these are just a couple more of these European budget label Hawaiian records. I'm getting them gradually, and I'm not going to talk about them in great deal because they are basically kind of similar, the same recordings, the same 2 or 3 groups that they mix and match and release and say all these different names when it's really the same music. Luke Leilani. It's not Luke Leilani, that's the American budget labels. They're different from the American budget labels, but the European ones have their own. This is one by the Panoramic singers, whoever they are, just called Hawaiian. And I have to say, I love this cover. I love the design, love the font, love it. I love this cover, but it's just, you know. And here another one, Krontjong Melodieen by the Krontjong Orchestra of Rindu, Akan, Archipelago or Island. Again, Indonesian kind of style Hawaiian music. You can get this on 1,000 different records in Europe. And it's fun. We like it. That's it. That's my update. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any of these records or thoughts about them or whatever, let me know in the comment section below. It's always good to hear from everyone. Check out the radio station if you want to check that out. It's 24/7. And I hope everybody had a happy New Year's Eve, no matter what you did. I know here a lot of people are not going to do gatherings and things that they were going to do, or bars they were going to go out to, and all this sort of stuff is not happening because we're having a big, you know, the whole Omicron thing is happening. So a lot of people are just either staying home, or myself, I'm going to a small gathering, same small group of people I got together with on Christmas Eve, so just a small group, and that's what I'm doing. So I hope everybody has a happy New Year.